This is Christy with Free Flow with William, and this is Free Flow Presents Mental Mind.
Yes, indeed.
So today is a special treat. We know that this is Mental Health Awareness Month, but we also know on Tuesdays this whole channel is about mental health. We always talk about our journeys and what we do to stay mentally well. And we talk about, when you feel depressed, what should you do? We always have a lot of heavy conversations. So today I want to have a joyous celebration of once you start your journey, what does it look like while you're healing? And what does it look like when you're starting to get and do what you want? So that's why William's here to tell us more about what he does, how he does it, and he is well on his path of getting everything that he wants. So William, tell us how you do all of that.
Hey, well, one thing I learned is to understanding how the mind really works. And I think that's the most powerful thing when you're trying to achieve something. And you understand it spiritually as well as physically, understanding what's going on, the emotions that you be sharing, For an example, I do a lot of research. I learned that from a friend of mine one time because, they graduated from college with the highest honors simply because they learned how to research. So that was shared with me, and I never forgotten that. So what I find myself doing a lot of time, even on my Apple phone, I'm researching all the time. I'm looking for more things I want to learn about the mind, how the mind really works, the real power of the mind, how you can get things accomplished. Because you see a lot of people being very successful in what they do as well as financially, their financial growth this time is phenomenal. So, this is a great time to live in, that you have the opportunity to gain all that you want if you utilize your mind the right way. Can you imagine this, for example? Some ladies and gentlemen, in a relationship, a lot of times they make each other cry over a text.
Yes, I do know and
they
can
can
relate.
get literally emotional over a text. And what is text? It's just some words that was said to them in terms of how they felt about them or they didn't feel about them, that put them in an emotional stage. So just imagine that happens even at work. So this is going on while you're at work now. Your whole day takes a 180-degree turn. Simply because this person said something to, take you off of your moment that you were having. So what do that tell you? That we got to make our minds stronger to withstand what comes at us. Okay? Now, one of the things I've been checking out is this. We can talk about when someone say your brain. Now, I want you to understand your brain and your mind are two separate things.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I just found that out not too long ago.
Yeah, they're two separate things. And one of the things you learn about there being separation is that reason they're separate because your mind is a part of your feelings. In terms, if you put your hand on some ice, you can feel the cold. If it's fire, then tell you, this is fire, it's going to burn. Those type of things. And you have those feelings in your head, your toes, your fingers, and the rest of your body. So now the actual brain, the brain is still you, but it's what you would call you in charge. Okay? So actually you're in charge of everything that goes on. But yet the mind has a tendency what the mind also does is this. The mind protects you. Okay? It has a tendency to keeping you away from harm. So let's just say if you say to yourself that I want to be successful. I really want to do this. And what turns around, and then all of a sudden you allow doubt to creep in. What your mind will actually do, it will send that doubt to your subconscious. And once the subconscious get a hold of it, it's become real belief.
So your mind is connected to your emotions and your beliefs.
Absolutely. So what happens is this, your mind started to protect you. It said, well, no, we can't let you fall. We can't let you do this, can't this, because it doesn't want you to feel that hurt. But yet, through the subconscious mind, it has to deliver that to you. Why? Because you brought it there. You accept certain situations that you brought into your life. So what it has to do, it has to materialize it.
That makes sense. I don't know if you've ever had it, but I've had it where I emotionally didn't feel okay, but psychologically I knew it was okay, but I couldn't make myself emotionally be okay.
Yeah. Well, see, now that's the part where we have to get.
It's the brain and the mind.
Yeah,
together.
we have to take that. We have to take our power back. See, in other words, the mind shouldn't be leading us. We should be leading the mind. You have the right to tell your mind, be quiet, especially if it's going negative. See, you have to pick something up and start looking at something that's positive.
Now, how do you make that switch? So you're saying
it's like a light switch. It's like you turn a light on, you turn a light off. It's like you understand your power. And see, what most people don't, they just don't know. See, now when you know you have power, meaning that you have the right to tell your mind, when it's talking about junk and you say, I'm going to do this, you know how you find yourself talking
positive
to yourself.
talk, so you can do positive talk and
Yeah,
affirmations.
right, so you
and all
change
those
that whole
things.
conversation to positive talking.
Okay.
Positive affirmation,
Okay.
and you'll start, getting away from what takes people to go into finding themselves being in a position where all of a sudden a lot of people, what is it when they have this thing they call, they start feeling anxiety attacks.
Anxiety, yeah.
Yeah, they start having anxiety attacks. What bring that on? Stress.
Absolutely.
It's just stress. Someone or something is stressing you out. And you're trying to figure a way to deal with it. You're trying to say, what am I going to do? You feel like you're back into a corner. So when you find yourself being backed into a corner, you automatically start stressing. Then here comes anxiety. I think I was telling you a situation with someone that I know, how they went to the doctor and the doctor was checking their blood pressure. They were like 140 something, right? All of a sudden they got a phone call.
Yep, you told me that.
And that phone call, when the lady by the time the lady put her on the right arm to check it and see was it lower than the left arm, the right arm had shot up to 170. And then after a while, she said, the doctor was stunned. So she said, let me try the left arm again. Tried the left arm. It went to 180 something. And she stopped and said, look, what is going on with you? That person started telling what was going on. And then said, but you can die from this. You can literally die because that anxiety has shot your blood pressure so high. See, so how do we turn that around? We have to change the way we change. In other words, if you know you're working on a job and it's too much for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to quit. What you have to do is find what you can do within the job that you can still make a decent salary and yet live your life. Because right now we're trading time for dollars.
Right.
So if we trade time for dollars, you'll find yourself running out of time more so than dollars. Because if you're not here to make the money, what difference does it make?
Right.
So that's the part about running out of time, because you're wearing yourself down to a point where you can't function. If you can't function, you can't work, you can't make money.
Wow, that's
See,
deep.
so we have to reevaluate ourselves and look at what we're trying to accomplish, And when you see that and you start looking at that, you say, wow, this is not where I want to be. Back in 2001, I know you heard it on the radio not too long ago on Frank's show. He said, he put a point out. He said, look, this is actual fact. Back in 2001, 42 million people walked away from their job. Now let's fast forward to March of this year. 5 million people walked away from their jobs. And now the jobs are offering all kind of,
they want you to stay.
They want you to stay.
All
They
these
want to
different
get
packets.
people coming in. McDonald's paying $20 and above. Other people
Walmart
doing this.
too. Target.
But what I try to tell people is this: I never tell anybody not to work. That's ludicrous. If someone tell you that, nobody can tell you what you need in order to pay your bills and your responsibility. But what I do say to you is this: what you want to do is make your job your partner. Now, this is a mind blower. See,
Okay.
now when you make your job your partner, right? That means that this job that you've been working on for a number of years, in some cases or less, that job is going to fuel your next adventure. Meaning that you're going to sit down and say, I always wanted to do this.
And this job is going to be like, get me there.
It's going to get you there.
So
Because
get jobs that are going to get you on the path of where you want to be.
right. Well, you know, if you've been there a period of time, the job has actually been helping you pay your bills, have activities and things that you want to go and do. But now, when we always looked at, that's where the stress point come in on Monday. Monday, it's a known fact. On Monday,
yeah.
most people die from stress and anxiety because all during the week, that weekend, they said, I don't want to go in this place.
Nobody wants to go in
You
on
know,
Monday.
nobody want to go in. So this level of stress is starting to build when Monday comes, and you find yourself getting sick and everything. This is where it comes from. But we should not allow that in our head.
Okay.
So this is why we turn around and say, you know what? I'll make my job my partner. And what you do while you have that job, you start building. A brother did this. I was listening in the morning. This is not something I designed. Like I said, I researched it. This brother said he turned around. He wanted to get into doing houses, remodeling and doing all that. He said he turned around. He realized he's been working for the company that was making good money and everything. But he said he turned around and made that his partner. So that money he was making from his job fueled his ability to do what he was trying to do. Then after a while, he let his partner go. He didn't need his partner anymore.
Oh, wow.
Why? Because he started making so much capital over at what he was doing. Now he's all over the place, Florida, so many other states, because he used his partner to get him there.
That's what
You see? See, so that's a whole nother thing for your brain. See, your brain, when you look at your job as your partner, that means you're in charge. You see?
Right.
You got a partner. Now, when you have a partner, somebody's working with you,
Right.
correct?
Right. Oh, yeah. You're
See,
not alone.
You're not working for your partner. Now your partner's working with you.
So you're saying the job is my partner.
Yes. So there's a whole nother mind thing now.
So I'm not underneath my job. I'm not a slave to my job.
Exactly.
We're partners, and I'm going to use this job to take me to my dream.
Exactly. See, and when you go in on Monday with a whole different
That
attitude.
does change my
a whole
attitude.
a whole different
Because you know
mindset.
if I start thinking about that,
Right.
I said, what am I going to get out of my job today on Monday? I'm going to absorb as much information and do as much as I can on Monday because I'm going to get to my dream in this amount of years. It's like you start planning it. This is what I have for myself. I will no longer work here anymore. So I need to get X, Y, and Z. I need to learn this so I can get there.
Right. And another big thing is this, and this is the most powerful thing. You want to be able to let your partner go before your partner let you go.
Talking about your job, y'all.
See? Yeah. Most people don't consider that. You know, when all of a sudden your partner say, I won't be needing you. We get ready to shut the company down. Are we downsizing or whatever? It's a story in one of my
Pink
books.
tickets.
This
Remember when
book-
they used to give pink tickets?
Yeah, this book right here. If you turn to the fifth story in this book here,
The fifth story?
this book is called A Man Without a Home. And I wrote like 5 short stories in that book. And the last story is What We Do Best.
Okay.
Okay? And What We Do Best, it was about a gentleman who was like living the good life. He made a 6-figure income, $250,000 a year, 6-7 figure, making good money.
This is one of his books, you guys. Okay, so a man.
Yeah, man without a home. And he all of a sudden, him and his
What we
team,
do best.
him and his team was doing good work together. And he had his own office, had his own parking place and everything. But one day they called in early and said, we want everybody in here early. So the first thing they were thinking about is their bonus.
I see it right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Their investments and their investments in the company.
Yep, they was looking for that yearly bonus. They look for that big bonus they get for doing a great job.
30,000? 30K?
30K. Each individual was getting a
Whoa,
30K
I see that.
bonus, right?
Uh-huh.
So you know, when the boss said come in early, everybody showed up.
Oh yeah.
But now when the boss had met them in the boardroom, everybody was on time. But he gave 2 letters to each one of them.
Okay.
He said, one of these letters are each and every one of you bonus. Each one of them got a $30,000 a piece bonus. So,
Okay.
yay.
Yeah.
So people start thinking I'm going to put a swimming pool in my place and this and this and that.
Oh,
So,
no.
What was the second letter? Oh my God.
So now the second letter,
Oh no.
the boss said to them, he said, well, the second letter I need you to read. They opened it up.
Oh,
It was a pink slip.
Oh no, I knew it.
It was a pink slip. He said, well, we are downsizing the company. And what they basically did, they down to the point, well, I ain't going to tell y'all the whole story.
Oh, it's in here. He wrote it,
But
so
I'll
it's
say
in
this.
here. You guys get his book.
I'll say this,
A
they
Man Without a Home.
downsized.
A lot of short stories in here.
I'll say this, they downsized. So when they downsized, they lost their position. He went back to his office, sitting in his office, he was thinking. And he said, what am I going to do? My brothers and sisters in college, I've been sending them money to support them. I've been sending my mom and dad on vacations every year. You know, I've been taking my lady out to the finest restaurants, and I've been having these 3 weeks vacations every year. He said, and I got a house note and a car payment and my credit cards. He said, so what am I going to do? Now, by the time he sat in his office trying to figure out all his problems, here come the whole team in the office and say, what are we going to do? So he said, they going on, do you hear us? But he's so deep in his own thought. They said, are you listening to us? He said, I tell you what, give me a week or 2 to figure out what's going on so I can figure out something to go out, to figure a way out of this. Now, in the book, he figures a way out. I'm not going to tell you that either.
Okay.
So, but my point is that situation happened. That goes back to why you want to fire I don't like to use the word fire, but why you
Let
want
them
to
go.
let your partner go before your partner let you go. So what we have a tendency to do, and I tell my sons and daughters the same thing. People go to work, but they don't plan anything for themselves. They don't invest into themselves. They invest in the shoes, this and that. It's good to look, I mean, who don't like nice things? But what are you investing into yourself in case your job over here decide to say, we can't use you anymore? Now, you got to try to recreate yourself all over again. But even in this economy right now, it's the best time to find another job if you qualify or whatever the case may be, and if they hire you. Like I say, you can go to McDonald's and make money. But it's what you do with the money to secure yourself, to say, so I never have to do this again.
Yeah.
You see? So that's why I say, when you're working, the job, don't look at the job on Monday and stress your whole self out and going through all that craziness, because you still have to pay your bill. If you have children, you have to provide for them. You know, the whole 9. We know what we have to do. But if you turn around and make it your partner and say, I'm gonna allow my partner to help me build something solid that's mine. If I'm gonna stay here for another 5 or 10 years, this is what I'm gonna have.
Right.
Not just my 401k, but I'm going to have a business that's doing something that's bringing in as much as my partner is bringing in, or several figures more. Once you get to those 7 figures more, you're free. Now what you just did, you just bought back your time. See how deep that is?
Yeah, that is
You
deep.
literally bought back your time.
You guys are getting
Time,
this.
then
I
you
hope
can-
y'all are taking notes, because this man is filled with wisdom.
So you take, then you can live, you can travel, you can go here, go there, because you done built something solid yourself. You can take your family to see all the things you wanted them to see.
Yes.
You can educate your children better.
Yes.
You can live better. Instead of saying, well, I have to get an 18 square foot house, you say, I always wanted a 5,000 square foot house. You can afford it. You can even go up on the car you want.
It takes preparation and dedication.
Yeah. So because you have a partner over here and you realize how to use that as a partner to get to where you are, then you let them go, which is the J-O-B. I want to be clear there.
I
That's the
can't
J-O-B.
wait to let
You
the
let
J-O-B
it
go when I'm secure
I'm not saying I'm ready now.
Yeah.
But when I'm secure and I learn what I need to learn,
to build your nest.
right.
See? So once you get strong over here, you're free.
Wow. And I'll be doing my
I
own.
can go real deep on this thing, but I'm not. But
We might have to do a part 2 because
Yeah,
it's
this part
coming up
two
on
is gonna be
the time.
Now,
So, but
this is what this book was all about. A Man Without His Home. This is what this was all about.
Okay.
5 gentlemen in this book went through some changes in their life, and they had to bounce back. You know, and one powerful story, like I told you in the beginning, they say it's called "We Made It Out." The family living in the projects, and how they had to do certain things while living in the projects in order to be able to move forward, because they say feel like they don't want us to get out of here. Seem like everything we
that's
do.
still true.
So it's certain
Yeah.
things in this book they had to do, and I
is this a
read-
real story? Are these based on like real
Well,
situations?
It's what I'm actually is a fictional writer.
Okay.
Reason I write fictional because I don't have time for somebody to go, well, that's not a fact, that's not a fact. No, bump all that. I write fictional, but it's real life in
It's
a
real
sense.
life. Yeah.
These things do happen to people.
Okay.
So what I did, I came up with the answer to the problems that people need to know, because it does happen. This keep you from stressing,
Yes.
going into anxiety. This is what this book does.
Okay.
And it's the same thing. when
This one is like it's like peace. I feel like it's peace. It's
Yeah.
art.
Well, Perception of a Poet, this book itself, Perception of a Poet, what it does the same thing. I mean, it tells about some of the things we deal with. Like, for example, we look at, I did one called, like I told you one time, this friend of mine called me. She said, "You so ghetto." I said, "Ghetto? You call it ghetto?" You know, we tripping. And she said, and then I said, "How you gonna call me ghetto? And you was raised up the project up the street from where I used to live at." I said, "You know, before I moved to the new." So, but what I
Was
did,
it this one?
um,
Which one was ghetto? She said.
let me see if that's the one. That's a little deep, my sweet.
Oh, you wearing your reading glasses?
This is the ghetto. This is the ghetto. Now I would read it. You want me to read it too?
Yeah.
I'll read that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me pull out my specs because
Y'all only get one. You got to buy the book to get the rest.
Yeah, you only get one. But I wrote this story because of what she said. But we laughed, you know, we laughed and everything. And I thought about, and then when I wrote the story, I laughed. And after I left her, I laughed. And I started thinking back. And when I started thinking back, this is what it came into. He said, "Yes, the ghetto. Yesterday, a woman called me ghetto. Yet she was raised in the project just a couple of blocks away. I thought about it for a minute, then I smiled. I reflected back on the good and the bad, and there was much more good than bad. Yes, the ghetto. I reflected some more, remembering playing on the sidewalk and even in the alley and streets with some friends. Some squabble, but no beef. Staying in reach of mama's voice saying, 'Come on in, it's time to eat.' Yes, the ghetto. Families owning homes and business too. There were always 2 to 3 corner stores to meet all your needs too. Credit if you need it till payday. My family eat and your family eat too. Barbershops, beauty salon, places to party and have adult fun. Church and school just 3 blocks away from home. Teachers like mom and dad will pop their tail instead of sending youngsters to jail. Okay? Doctors, lawyers, car mechanics, babysitters, trashmen, street sweepers, and number runners too. Feeling lucky, pick one. Yes, the ghetto, the only place you know. Much love for everyone. We made money outside of our neighborhood. We spent money back in our neighborhood. Yes, the ghetto. Nowadays, there's the hustle and bustle. No time or respect for family or anyone. A sad vision of life. Yes, once again, due out of history and life. thinking about another kind of man's life. Why did we give up economical freedom for a social freedom life? So in most cases, that's exactly what we did. We gave up an economical side of life for a social freedom life. Because we were so concerned about everybody liking us. Versus if you go back in the early 40s and go look, like between the 40s and 50s, you'd be surprised how many African American people were successful at what they did.
Yeah, I always get surprised about that.
Like my father, he was from North Carolina, my mother was from South Carolina, but they met in New Jersey. Then they came to Alexandria. So people would leave the South. Well, they used to call the North and the North the South as well.
Yeah, because up here.
Yeah. So people would leave there and they would go to the big cities, like New Jersey, Philly, New York, because it was so much going on where you could, get involved in things. You could start businesses, and people, was more gelling together.
Yeah, I remember those days. Even though I'm only about to be 46, when I was growing up, and my grandma was in the ghetto.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
But everybody had a store. You can go to one house and get this specialty, go to that house and get another specialty, and you'll go to house in the penny bag.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
I
my
remember milk bottles and all that
Yes.
stuff.
Okay.
So you have some fans here. So we have Boo Jones that says, congratulations on your book. Oh, wait. Wrong person. Bree Anderson says, congratulations on your book. Sorry, Bree. And then we have Rodney Grimes. Mr. Slate is an amazing... Oh, sorry. And he says you're full with information.
Thank you.
Okay, and there's a few more watching, but I can't see who they are. But
Okay.
thank you for your supporters. And Rodney Grimes is on People to People. He has Motivational Mondays, and he has Let's Talk About It Wednesdays, as well as Date Night on Fridays. So you guys are familiar already on Free Flow with Rodney Grimes. So watch him tomorrow.
Beautiful.
I have to take a
that's
minute
great.
for our
That's great.
commercials.
That's
Okay.
great. So what I did with Perception of a Poet, I put pieces in there concerning love. I have some spiritual pieces in this book. I have some things that have brothers we must work it out. The disagreement we have because one brother's lighter than the other brother type thing. So,
Why is that?
yeah, well, it's just certain situations. Or you live on one side of town, I live on the other side of town. So the one poem say, brothers, we must work it out, killing each other. It's not the answer. So it tells that I've got some very deep, there's 30 poems in this book.
Wow.
And they're very good. And I'm looking, this book, I can actually see this book is going to change a lot of lives, even in the poetry. Because, like I wrote one called Look Deep, My Sweet, and it's talking about I'm deeper than the ocean blue, 1,000 feet down from you.
So that 1,000 feet is kind of deep.
Yeah, so what it's saying is that if you really want to know me, you got to spend time with me so you can know me. So you got to look deeper. I'm deeper than what you see with your naked eye. There's a lot more inside of me. So a woman could think that way about a man, and a man could think that way about a woman. So it's just, that's what it's about.
Okay.
So, what I will do is give them some of the titles. I do want to give them a few titles. And because we have an index in the book, so
Yes.
I did that simply because the things that you feel most important to you to read them first.
That's what I do. That's
something-
how I read a book. Sometimes I read in the middle first.
Right.
Yep.
And I have a little piece in there called 1799, What a Fine Wine. There's about two people sitting at a table for two.
Okay.
And the things that this man is saying to this woman. But yet, a young girl, which is the man, is her uncle, she looks on. That's in this book as well. She looks on and she hears these beautiful words being said. And the first thing, at 15, she hearing words like that. She said, I hope when I become a woman that a man would say something nice like that to me. See, so once again, that's what it talks about. The things that you say, and when you're saying good things to people, you're healing them. But when you're also making people aware of what's going on, you're healing them. I wrote one in here about.
You said you were gonna give the titles.
Oh yeah, let me give one more thing here about you, because I know how to get to this one even quicker. The guy who got the knee on the throat, you know what I'm talking about. Mama Hear My Cry. That was concerning the gentleman who went through. The police had his knee on his throat.
Oh, yeah.
George Floyd.
Yes, you wrote one about him.
I wrote one about George Floyd.
Oh, nice.
But when I wrote it to the point where the mother answered him back from the heavens. So they're gonna have to read that. But yeah, we do have an index in the book.
Okay.
So they can go through the index and out of the 30 poems, pick which one they like.
This is the one I'm into now. So these are taken care of. But this one,
Sweet's
Nice.
code name Red Diamond. This book here, I target the ladies with this really, but gentlemen, it's for you as well because I don't want to leave the gentlemen out. But it's this book here has several business ventures that you will see when you read it.
oh,
And
yes.
it showed how each one of these things came to pass. How this young lady Diamond, how her uncle worked with her, was teaching her and showing her things ever since she was a little girl. You know, he used to pick her up from school and take her out and talk to her. So one thing he made sure of, that her and her cousin, which was his son, had a future. And they would say powerful things. So this is about, you know, after church going out and having the picnics in the backyard with the family.
I love this book.
And yeah, and then you know they're speaking. You know, the uncle says something wise to the family. They tell them, you know, how important it is to leave something for the next generation. So it's about that, but it shows how people are succeeding. Any one of us could be any character in this book.
That's what I was about to say. This book is about things that I love. It's about family being together, like the family love. It's about wisdom that you pass on from generations. It's about how to start businesses. It's about feeding your children information and knowledge. Like they don't get that now because they're always on their phone. But when you can sit down and you're mentoring your own kids, like you don't have to go find a mentor. Like literally the uncles and grandfathers are mentoring their family, their grandkids, their nieces and nephews. It's like the way it used to be. Like, I don't know what happened. All that wisdom is good for young adults to read. Your teenager can read it. Like men can read it, women can read it. Everybody can benefit from this. And like you said, I saw myself in every position. I love it.
Yeah. And this is a book I'm gonna be working on to get into schools as well. Maybe next year, by next year. So
That would be a really good read.
Yeah, because,
especially for like, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you
No,
off.
that's
I love
okay.
this
No,
book,
that's okay.
especially
Go
for
ahead.
like the middle schools.
Yeah.
Because that's where to catch them at. I mean, the high schools, they'll really understand it completely in depth.
yeah,
Maybe like a 12th grade and all that,
Yeah.
because you know, 12th grade you have to like read
Yeah.
all these really in-depth books. But
Yeah.
middle school,
yeah. I
you can
think
get
middle
them.
school is a good place to start as well
Yeah.
because see, if you can get someone to believe that they can, you know, it's possible. If they can believe that it's possible that they can achieve things, we can turn a lot of things around. And in this book, this is what it does. But it also deals with the alter ego.
Yeah.
And it tells you how the alter ego is used and how the young lady does that. That's why the name is called Sweets, because her mother calls it Sweets. But when she becomes Red Diamond, she's a different person. So she used that as her energy to move forward and to succeed. And in her first year of college, she went to a junior college for 2 years. I would say half the year of that junior college, she was into the 6 and 7 figures.
It said it to me. It seems like she already knew who she was to give herself a code name, Red Diamond.
Well, what she did, she was admiring certain individuals, and she watched how they operate. But what she did, as she kept showing up in different spots with her uncle, he would take her to lunch and places like that, and he was always teaching her certain little things. Now, I give one little thing to you out of the book. Like, he would pick her up from school. He said, well, today we're going to the park and we'll have lunch in the park. So she said, okay. So they go to the park and they have their lunch. But she was always knowing, because this was her mother's brother, she was always knowing, regardless of what he was going to, he did that. But here comes the punchline. It would always be something concerning business. So it would
So
constantly.
she soaked it up, right?
Right,
She was always
he
ready.
told her, yeah. She was soaking it up because he said, I want you to always be sharp on your feet.
Right.
You know, be quick. So he gave her an example. He said, Diamond, he said, my hand is a coin, right? He said, my coin is heads and tail. He said, heads is business. Tail is, you know, just going out and live life in so many respects. He said, now, I want you to think for a moment, which one are you? And she thought about it for a moment, because she remembered what her mother told her. She said her brother don't deal with people who don't want to accomplish things, you know,
Right.
who don't want to listen. And listening is the key thing. So she said, business. And he said, explain. She said, because I want to be someone. In so many words, I want to have something.
Oh.
So she answered
knew
the
that.
right answer.
Yeah, she was that young.
Yeah. So it's a lot of young people the same way. Like my grandson that's standing over there. I'm the same way.
He's
You know,
sitting here
he's
learning.
just 10.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, he can play drums. He can play keyboard. He's working on my bass guitar now playing it. So, I mean, he's very sharp. And he builds, he knows how to do it, set up his own studio on his tablet. So he does his own recording.
You do all that?
He has recorded his own songs, made up songs. See, so, but you know what he did?
What?
All the time he was watching. Watching. I took him to church, he get on the drums, he played. They loved when he come in and play because he could play. But he watched and he learned. He was watching, started watching his uncle more because his uncle's a drummer. So they spent a lot of time learning technique.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
This
so-
is the family dynamics and how we can teach our own kids.
Yes.
We don't got to rely on the street. We don't got to hire people
Right.
to coach and mentor unless we don't have the skills. But everybody in your family has something to contribute to your own child.
Sure, sure.
And we can just get back to networking and relating to our own community and, you know, our family.
See, that's why it's so important for us to understand buying back your time.
Yeah.
See, when you buy back your time, you have time to do those things.
That's
You know,
right. That's
see?
right.
Yeah, you have time to spend. You spend more time with your grandkids, and life is different.
And it gets us back to mental mind and how
Yeah.
you're telling us to just relax.
Yeah, relax. And when you ask the question, what do slaves do to relax? This is how I relax. I relax because I read, I research,
Yeah.
and I find out greater things. How much power that we do have. I understand why King Solomon was considered the most wealthy. He was not considered, but the most wealthiest king. And why people went to Solomon. But when they went to King Solomon, they was always bringing them precious gold, rubies and diamonds and emeralds and everything to sit at his feet while he talked to them. But guess what? It's because when he went, King Solomon turned around and started realizing the full potential of the power that God gave him. See, he went out doing his thing, and doing all this stuff. But also he said, let me go back. So when he got back and restored himself, what God has given him, then he said he made him even greater. See, so what's the difference between him and us? It's not a difference.
There's not a difference.
It's just when the blessings come down, are you ready for them?
Be prepared.
Yeah, you got to be prepared for it. So, and I tell anybody, this is our time. This is our time to be blessed among measures. If you can see it, but if you blinded by all this foolishness and argument and can't get along and this and that and this and that, you got so much stuff in the way you can't see where you're going. You're deaf, your ears are deaf. You can't hear what's being said to you. Somebody, if I say to you, and you got a lot going on, but I just told you, you just got $5 million. So I said like the camera can hear, you had $5 million, right?
Right.
But you didn't hear that, you know? Why you don't hear? Because it's all this stuff. So when we turn around and slow down so we can catch up, all that changes.
We got to have you on for part 2 because we got to get into the spiritual deepness. You know, I know you're leading us into the mind and what to do and how to stay relaxed and how to make ourselves go forward. You know, we want to go forward. We want to learn, as he's telling us to learn all you can so you can build your own empire. Basically, that's what he's saying. You ain't got to work for nobody. You can literally get what you can get from your job now. Learn from what you can from the world to be your own boss and have your own empire. Bring your grandkids, your cousins, your nephews into this dream so they can learn.
Yeah.
You know, it's for the babies too. Literally everybody can have what they want. I don't know who told you you can't have what you want. It's there. All you got to do is create it. Who's standing in your way? Is it you? Y'all know what I'm talking about? William, you got to come back on because the spiritual deepness, they ain't ready yet. We got to get them in there a little bit at a time. I told you guys on New Year's what God said. So y'all need to go into my New Year's podcast and look up Exodus and how they came out the promised land and what God said about manna. That's what he's going to talk about next, that spiritual deepness. Anything else you want to have the final words? Because, I mean, we ain't got to close, but I'm just saying. I don't want to give all of you today because it's too much. It's too good. I want them to be thirsty for more.
Well, I'm just going to say in the next week or two, these books all are going to be on sale. We have a website been set out. You can touch base with Chrissy because she's giving me a lot of help with this as well. So stay in touch because we're going to do some big things with the book. I've talked to Rodney. Rodney is P2P is helping me out a lot. So we all one happy family.
Yes.
And we all going to do some great things. So stay posted.
All right, you guys. You heard what he said. Stay posted. We'll hear more about William Slade coming up. Again, we'll have another podcast with him. Stay tuned tomorrow with People to People with Rodney Grimes, 7 o'clock. Okay, you guys? It'll be posted on my Free Flow page. I love you guys. We're going to continue to do what God says to do, and that's to spread his love all over the earth. Come here, handsome. This is the little man. This is what we're talking about mentoring. He's here the whole time. He was filming on Instagram. That's how we do it. He was filming Instagram, getting us up on other platforms. This guy. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Thank you, Will.